What's going on, guys? Fun with Knives back again, and welcome to the unveiling of the coolest zombie knife of all time. That's right, the blade that you're looking at is going to serve you well as your primary weapon as you face the zombie apocalypse. No, I'm just kidding, guys. This is not a zombie knife. Zombies do not exist, and the zombie apocalypse is not going to happen. Even though it's kind of a fun thought to think about to stay in that prepared type mindset, this is not a zombie knife. But what it is the finished product of my little knife modification project. I'm finally done, and I'm actually fairly happy with how it turned out. So I'm just going to go over what I did to the knife, to the sheath, and everything with you guys. And I'll have you guys let me know what you think in the comments. I mean, these cold steel GI Tantos, that's what blade this is, are so cheap that I'm thinking about buying a couple and trying different things. So let's look at the sheath first. I know I showed you guys this a while back when I was just starting this little project, but I redid the paracord on it. This is one piece of paracord instead of like 7 strapping this thing down. And then I do have that pouch on this awesome sheath that comes with that knife. So this pouch is just some Amazon throwing knife crappy pouch, but it works. And inside I have, again, the fire steel and striker in case I need to make a little bit of fire. And the Schrade, this is just a coarse grit stone, I believe, just to keep my blade working sharp. Get that off camera. And then I did add something. Instead of that bird hawkbill being in there, which I don't really think I'm going to need that, I have some of these wet fire starting tinder. That way I can catch a spark really easily, start a fire if I have to, and all that is encased in this one little package. Now, when this video is over, this knife is going to be lashed onto the backpack strap of my bug out bag, because it's my new bug out bag knife. So in the event of an earthquake or a house fire or something, and I need to grab that bag full of supplies and clothes and food and everything, I'll have a blade and a way to make fire at the very least, which I think is pretty cool. So this is not a zombie knife. That was just a clickbait title to get you guys to watch my little modification that I am fairly proud of. Now, I will be the first to tell you before I show you the blade that I am not a professional knife modder. In fact, this was my first real attempt at it, and like I said, I'm fairly happy with how it turned out. There's a couple of things I would have done differently, but basically what I did is I took a standard cold steel GI Tanto and attacked it with a Dremel. I mean, I took a whole bunch of different bits to it, and I ended up doing way more than I thought I was going to. So, let's look at the blade. There she is. She looks pretty different. You can see here I did the mustard patina on the blade. I took that coating all the way off. Did not intend to do that. I actually scratched it with one of the Dremel bits. I'm like, well, that coating's got to come off. But that mustard patina actually looks really cool to me. It's got an uneven finish, and I definitely meant to do that, but it looks kind of apocalyptic, and that's what I was going for. I wanted that used and rusted look, like this knife was 150 years old and still going. So it does kind of look like a Fallout knife or something, like it's been through a nuclear war. Now, what else did I do? Well, I actually did sharpen it, finally. It has an edge on it after I did all that patina and Dremel work. This thing was pretty dull, but it's back to shaving sharp. I did round out this section just a little bit. This corner was kind of sharp, so I took a masonry bit and got in there, rounded that out to make the forward finger choil just a little bit more comfortable. And of course, I knocked off that top handguard. I've never been a fan of top handguards. I understand this one every time. You don't want your hand going up on top of the blade, but these top handguards just prevent you from using any other grip than a hammer grip. So I cut that right off, and then, sorry guys, if I get that to focus, I added a whole series of jimping. That is very uneven, but it actually works really well. So if I had this knife in a saber grip, I have somewhere that's going to catch my thumb meat. And if I want to choke up, I even got that. If I want to do it in kind of a pinch grip, there is jimping basically from the swedge all the way down to the handle. And I think that's how this knife should have came, because it's much more effective. Now, something else I did, this corner was also fairly sharp, and I just kind of rounded that out. It feels much more comfortable in hand when you're pressing up on that finger guard. So something else. And then these polypropylene handles did come plain, and then they just have this kind of divot right in the middle of them. So I took, I didn't remember what bit I used here, and just attacked the chamfers of that. And basically what that did is gave it a kind of prehistoric look, like it's, I don't know, I think it looks okay. It's not, I mean, it took me 5 minutes to do that, so I'm not ultra proud of the handles, but it did add a ton more grip, because when you grab this knife, your fingers kind of fall in that fuller, and then all of these cutouts just kind of grab onto your meat, so your hand is not going anywhere, regardless of what you do or how you use this knife. I did take that lanyard off. I wasn't serving a whole lot of purpose, so maybe I'll throw one back on. But as you can see, there's glue escaping from the handles. That's because I owned a Cold Steel GI Tanto before, and I noticed that these scales fell off fairly easy. So after I was done doing the mustard patina on this blade, I took the scales, or they were already off, but I super glued them, or I used Gorilla Glue or something, and adhered them to the knife itself, and then Loctited the crap out of these screws, so these handles are never coming off in a million years, because they're glued, and I use some pretty heavy thread locker, so those screws are never coming out. So I'm gonna have to scrape these little spots of glue out that are coming out, but other than that, I'm pretty happy. And to me, it looks like a good kind of bug out bag knife. I mean, obviously 1055 is not the best steel and it will rust on you readily. I did throw some oil on this because after patinaing, I am worried that this blade is going to catch a whole lot of rust. But like I said, it's a bug out bag knife. It's not going to see any use unless I have to bug out, which is very unlikely. Mainly, this was just a fun knife project, and I would definitely like to do something like this in the future because I had a blast. I mean, it's a lot of fun stripping coatings, just taking a Dremel to your blade, trying different finishes on it, messing with these cheap handle scales. It was just a lot of fun. So let me know what you guys think of the FWK Ultimate Zombie Knife. And maybe you guys would like to come along in the next one. If I do another one of these modifications, maybe I'll just record a couple of clips of each step that I do, and I can do a final product video like this one. So I like Cold Steel's 1055 stuff. It's so cheap, it's so tough that you can just do these kind of knife modification projects and it's still going to be kicking. So good on Cold Steel for giving us budget, just beater blades that are good templates for these knife modification projects. So thanks for watching, guys, as always, and remember, have fun with your knives.